All right, guys. Shane Champlin here. Marketing Remix is my company. And today I've got my good friend Craig Mount with me here from Classy Brain. And he is a world-renowned expert on Google My Business and all things SEO. And this is an extremely important aspect of every business that is in a local market. I mean, every business in general. But if you're in a local market specifically, we've got a great case study today to show you that's going to show you exactly what it's like when you're not doing SEO work, how you're not being found, and where you are without this kind of work being done. And at the end of it, once this work has been completed, once Google My Business has been optimized, once there's content being created consistently for a website and all of those things that guys like Craig do for a living for our businesses, once those things are done, where that can take a business and how much it can grow a business really just within a couple months of work. And so without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Craig. We're going to be talking about a company called Legacy & Co. Jewelers, and he's done some incredible work for them, and I'm going to hand it over to him so he can explain all of that for you. So here we go, and Craig, I'm ready for you.
Hey everyone, Craig Mount from Classy Brain here. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share some of the work that we've done. Really proud of it. And as Shane had mentioned, we are talking about a company in Colorado called Legacy & Co. Jewelers. And when we first got this company, it's actually a really cool story. The small business owner had inherited it from his dad, and he actually named it Legacy after his dad. He was keeping on his dad's legacy. And so when we first got it, when we first got this account, these guys were really struggling with search engine optimization specifically. And so when we first looked and ran a report for a keyword phrase that meant something to them, jeweler near me, the results weren't good, right? There's no way to sugarcoat this. This tool that we're using here is called Local Falcon. And what this tool will do is perform a search at an individual location where these little pins are. And if you performed a search for jewelers near me in any one of those locations, Legacy & Co. would show up below bottom 20. I mean, pretty much non-existent. And so one of the things that we did when we were interviewing the business owner is we asked him, hey, what happened to your dad's business listings? And what we ended up finding was really interesting. Legacy & Co. Jewelers actually had another business prior to it. His dad actually had named it Goldfinger Jewelry. Now, this is a problem to Google. We were able to identify right away that Legacy & Co. and Goldfingers were sending the search engine mixed messages. And so in our diagnostic approach, we look at things and we try to prioritize things based off of need. So in our prognosis, we're able to discover, oh, okay, this is something that's really high priority. And we were able to go in and actually take a look and merge the dad's listing with the son's listing. And what we ended up finding was, boom, we got a step in the right direction. The search engine almost rewarded us for that immediately. So again, in our approach, we look at things, we try to prioritize based off of need. And in doing so, these are the kinds of results that we get, right? We don't have a systemized process. Every business is unique. So what ends up happening is, if I'm looking at any individual business, I'm going to look for top things that are going to get the needle moving right away. In this case, this is exactly what happened. And again, we found that this business was sending the search engine Google some mixed messages, and we got that result right away. So what ended up happening was we went through and we performed a lot of different SEO strategies on this individual business. We went through, we optimized his Google My Business listing, we optimized his website, we went every single thing that we could possibly do, and we were, again, rewarded, getting steps kind of in the right direction. As you can see, we're getting more placement, we're breaking more ground, and as of recently, this is in November, so of 2019, after 6 months of just working on this listing, we actually, for the same keyword phrase, jeweler near me, was able just to let this listing kind of breathe a little bit. It's almost like it was able to just like exhale, and it's kind of taking over. So it's really is a strong business. It should have been ranking, and it wasn't, just because of some business decisions that the owner had made up front, kind of a lack of knowledge in SEO. We were able to go in, fix some of these things, and after 6 months, we got a lot of coverage for
Dude, that's
Legacy
huge.
and
Look at
Co.
that. Click back to that first one where it was like all 20s.
Right.
Look at that. Like that's when we started. And then click back to the new one. And this is just this last month. Seriously, 11, 12 of 19, as you can see, is when this report was pulled. And look, he's now taking over all that geographic area right where his shop is and surrounding. Those are all greens and yellows and oranges, like not even close to the same. This is making it so he gets so many more calls, which we'll show you in a second. So go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I was going to say is that I can't stress enough when you're hiring an SEO professional how important it is to look at a business from this lens, look at the business from what needs to be optimized right away and prioritize based off of that. You can't have this cookie cutter approach where you run everybody through the same process. You need an expert to actually go in and say, okay, I know exactly what's wrong. I know exactly how to fix it. Here's the timeline. Here are the milestones. And again, progress was slow, right? You get kind of these little hints that you might be going in the right direction. But then after, a few key components are met in the search engine's eyes, you get results like this. And it does translate to more calls. Just this business in particular, over this time period that we were working on this business, we saw an almost immediate jump in the amount of list times that they were being presented on the search engine and in Google Maps as well. This was about a 4 times increase in traffic. So the searches were there, on the local market. It was relevant searches. It was searches for repair, watches, diamonds, you name it. And he was getting about 4 times more traffic just after a couple months of work, right?
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so again, jumping into, this data or jumping into a campaign, looking at it from that top-down approach, really happy to look at any business in this manner.
All right, Craig, why don't you show us a little bit about kind of the local search market? Give us some information here that explains to us the magnitude of the importance of this specifically, right? Like Google My Business, searching is now happening more from a mobile device than any other device. We do everything from our phone. Everything starts here, right? We're always on it between the football game, during commercial, we're on our phone, we're searching. We do voice command now. So everything starts here. And I'm just curious for you to show us some of this information that can show us the magnitude of the importance of this.
Absolutely. So search more than ever is more important, right? People are relying on these little, billion-dollar devices that we have on our phone. I mean, Google search is a billion-dollar tool. We don't realize that, but we actually have that in our pockets every single day when we're walking around it. It's whenever we need to perform a search. And how consumers are searching on these mobile devices is changing, and it's changing rapidly, and small businesses need to adapt. And I almost sympathize with small businesses because you guys have so much to do already. You're constantly, you have to be your own accountants, you have to be good at payroll, HR related items, and you also have to be good at what you do, right? And here Google is coming in, and just the internet in general, and they're kind of adding different tasks, different proficiencies that you have to excel in. And so, what I would like to do is just kind of educate on how consumers are searching now, so you know how to optimize your website for Google search. And so what I'm finding is that people are using more near me searches more than ever. And we're seeing this huge trend in not only people that are searching for specific businesses, but also the services that those businesses offer. So online, you need to optimize both for who you are and what you do. It's very important that you're doing that. Cast a big net, and you can get a lot of traffic that way. Google anymore. So where should you optimize for this? Well, as we said at the top, Google makes up, and this is from Statista, 89.95% of all search market share as of January 2019. That's huge.
So huge.
So the most common place that people are starting these online activities is on their phone. So we're finding that 65% of consumers, when they're looking for businesses, your businesses on a local market, they're using their phone 65% of the time to do so. And they're also continuing it on a PC at a later point in time. That's huge, right? You got to start thinking about your business, how it's being presented online based off of what device now, right? Where they're searching, and you need to control the information that shows up. This is probably the most important thing that I can show you, and this is what people are doing when they are on their phone or their computer. There's zero clicking. What zero clicking means is they're starting on a Google property and they're ending on a Google property. And I'm going to show you
Oh,
exactly what
wow.
that means.
That's not something that you really even hear that much about when you hear people talk about SEO, is it?
No, it really isn't. You mostly, when you're talking about search engine optimization, you're mostly thinking about, well, if I Google a keyword phrase, where does my business show up on that list? You're not thinking of like, what do people do when they see that list? How do they interact with it?
Yeah, you don't.
That's very important. And so back to our example at the top, if I just Googled, home loan Omaha, this is what shows up, right? And this is what would show up for your business, right? You'd get a little set of ads kind of at the top here. You would get what we call a map pack. And you would also get organic search results right here. So this is the target. If you're a local business, this is exactly where you want to be. That zero clicking that we were talking about, users are showing up, performing this search, and they are ending on this map pack here. And again, just to kind of jump through, we have Google Ads, we have our map pack, we have organic search. Next, let's perform what's called a direct search or a branded search, which is what shows up if somebody Googles your exact brand, right? And what we have on the very similar search engine results page, we have the ads. We also have organic search, and we have something called the knowledge panel that will show up here on the right-hand side. So this knowledge panel is very important. This is where users perform the majority of what they do, right? This is the bottom half of that search. These are the individual search results. And these are different features of the knowledge panel. This is a Google post feature. This is Google Q&A. And these are their individual social media profiles. So moving back to our search result, the first search result that we performed with home loan, we have positions 1 through 10, or sorry, we have positions 1 through 3 up here, and then we have positions 4 through 10, okay? So roughly 65% of people will end right here at this position 1 through 3. So this is where you need to be. You need to be in this map pack, right?
Yeah.
For the actual knowledge panel search engine result, if someone's performing a search for that direct business, they're going to end up in this area, right here. So again, just to reiterate the point here, zero-click search means that users are starting on a Google property and ending on a Google property. That's only increasing. If we look at when we started measuring this in January 2016, 55.6%, yep, 61.5. So this is a trend, again, that's moving up. People are finding that they like these Google properties. They want to end up on them. So if I perform this search, it's essentially users saying, I have all the information I need right here. But don't take my word for it. Let's look at numbers. Let's look at the exact data, right? We installed a call tracking number on an individual Google My Business profile for a national tire franchise. And we installed a tracking number on their website as well. Okay, so the difference being, I wanted to know who was calling just from this versus clicking through to the website and calling. And the results
really important to know,
yeah, the results were absolutely crazy to me. The Google My Business profiles far outperformed the website.
Wow.
Right? The organic clicks were people who would click through to the site and then call from the site. I mean, this is 90% here. 90% of their calls came from these Google My Business profiles right here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely it's again, all the studies point to what you're showing on Google on these profiles matters more than ever, and you need to be optimizing for them. And so how Google is thinking, why does Google do this? Why does Google want you to click on these individual profiles, not the website? Well, back in 2015, right, Sergey Brin and Larry Page actually ended up stepping down, and Sundar Pichai actually took over as CEO of Google. And Google then became Alphabet, if you remember.
Yeah.
And it became very clear that Google, was, as one of my mentors said, the adults were in charge now. Alphabet took over. They were really looking to monetize Google. And what we saw when Sundar Pichai took over was a lot of features being released for Google My Business, right? Google basically said, well, let's create a feature called Posts and have it show up when somebody types in a search for a business's brand name. Same thing with Google Q&A. So we have Google Q&A now that shows up whenever somebody performs a search here.
So you mean they've actually released dedicated products that only function in the Google My Business and Maps environment?
Because they found that users like being on Google. They like getting their information from Google. They're clicking through to websites less, so they're trying to provide more information to the user on the actual search engine results page. So
it makes perfect sense, right? We don't want to jump over to something else if we have to. If we could get it all done in one visit to some search, why not do that?
Exactly. And so we were finding that more and more of these features were being released to the Google My Business, what we call, again, the knowledge panels. And, the reason why was because Google was creating a system that keeps both searchers and business owners on Google. So this is the whole point of this, right? Is that not only do searchers want to be on Google, but Google wants you to think of your Google My Business and your presence on Google as the top importance to the business owner as well. Because if you're in here optimizing all of this information, that means you're logging into your Google My Business profile, right? And when you're logging into your Google My Business profile, what are you doing? Well, you're getting an advertisement for Google Ads.
Yep.
So it makes a lot of sense for Google to incentivize a business owner to also spend a lot of their time on Google as well, right? And guess what?
Totally.
It's working really well, right?
And you really can't fight Google, can you? Right? We've tried. We as web experts, we've tried to hack SEO. They fix it. We try to hack this. They fix it. Every new algorithm update, they're fixing it. And they're moving us toward a world that we live in where, unfortunately, we're going to rely on them for everything. Not only just the finding of something in search, but also the interacting with that business and converting to that business as well. So it's super important to just embrace that ecosystem and understand the importance of really digging into this specific product and optimization, isn't it?
That's correct. That's absolutely right. And what you need to do about it as a business owner heading into 2020 is this is clearly the new landscape. You need to, your new job as a small business owner is to optimize your business for zero-click search, right?
Yeah.
It's to optimize it for users who are searching, finding you on these platforms for all the keyword phrases that they might be typing in. And you also, you need to be the best result. Absolutely.
Guys, another thing that another service that we provide here at Marketing Remix as a service is Facebook advertising into Facebook Messenger as a conversion channel. And it follows the exact same line of thinking, right? This right here, this thing is what matters more than anything else. Computers don't matter as much anymore. The conversion, the search starts here. People are using social apps. They're using Google search, like the native Google app inside their phone, the Google Assistant app to do voice searches. And they're using their mobile device and much more in a way using apps and using these local ecosystems that are built into these phones to interact and convert on even businesses, right? Like Facebook Messenger has been far more effective for converting people into customers and clients for businesses like HVAC companies and tire shops and wheels and tires and auto repair than a website landing page funnel could ever be. And it's because it's catering to people's actual use on their mobile device. And these apps, Google My Business, all these things are optimized for this device. So just want to add a little bit of of a push behind what Craig is saying, that look, if you're not focusing on this thing right here and people using it to find your business, you are leaving money on the table, hand over fist. 5 figures in most cases for local businesses that we work for don't know where their revenue's coming from, and most of it's coming from right here. So just food for thought for you. Craig, I'm gonna give it back to you. I just want to put that point in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I had. That was great summation. Absolutely. I totally agree with what you just said there. That's why we look at everything from a Google perspective first. I mean, even going back to, the case study that we had provided a little bit earlier, right? Just that's exactly how we look at it. We look at it from how are users searching on Google, and how do we optimize to just get as much of that space as possible.
Absolutely, man. Hey, thank you for sharing your expertise with us here. Guys, I hope this was valuable for you. What I really wanted to do with this is bring awareness to you and your business that Google My Business is the new thing you need to be focusing on. And it really is, literally. Like, there's no other way around it. You cannot stay on the coattails of your other marketing stuff that you've been doing that's working for you. You have to start to focus on these mobile devices, users, and how they use them, and how they search, and how they find these businesses. And so if this is interesting to you, if this information was valuable to you, and you can see that you need help in any of the areas that we just talked about, you can message me back. You're going to be getting this video probably on LinkedIn or through Facebook Messenger, but you can just message me back directly. Again, I'm Shane Champlin. He's Craig Mount. He's my partner in this, and we provide the service for companies across the country. And so I just wanted to open that channel for you. If you have any questions or you want to talk about how your business, we'll do a free evaluation for you. We want to talk about how your business can benefit from Google My Business and these kinds of optimizations for search engine optimization. Please let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions, as is Craig. And again, let me know if you have any questions or feedback down underneath this video, and we'll talk soon. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.